Hey guys, welcome to Operation Grinder Rescue. What do I mean by that? I want us to go out and I want to rescue some of the people who have been grinders in the network marketing profession and didn't find out really how it worked and didn't know some of the information we're going to cover right now that can help them be successful in the business. What are we talking about? This goes back to our topic, which we've discussed in the past, of MLM grinders versus MLM rockstars and how to become a rock star. Because there really is two camps of people in the business, and the biggest camp is the MLM grinders. And those are the people that are just grinding it out, and they don't really have duplication because they don't know some of the information we're going to talk about today. They're kind of the analogy we use a lot in the business is the guy at the circus who spins the plates, and he gets a stick and he spins the first plate, and then he gets another stick and spins the second one and third and fifth. And then by the time he gets to the fifth or sixth one, they've got to go back to the first one, and then the second one and the third. And if they ever stop going back and spinning the plates, they fall off the sticks and they break. And there's a lot of people in our profession, that's how they're building, because they don't know any better. So they're always having to spin the plates. These are the people that all the prospects have to be brought to them. They have to do all the presentations. They have to host all the meetings. They have to conduct all the trainings. They're absolutely grinders. They talk about lifestyle. They talk about residual income, but they don't really have it. And then we have MLM rockstars. And those are us that actually have the lifestyle. We have that drink out of a coconut money. We have gone out and replaced ourselves. We've developed leaders. We've made the system the hero instead of us being the hero. And because once you make the system the hero, then the organization can continue to replicate itself. And every month we have new leaders coming up, new levels of leaders month after month after month. Now, here's the only caveat I'm going to tell you guys, is I want you to please respect the profession. The whole point of this training is not for us to say, okay, let's go find all of the other people and all the other network marketing companies and show them how bad their company is and why they should leave that company and come into Agile. That isn't what it's about. There are some really good companies in our business. These people are our colleagues, and we need to respect them if we want them to respect us. And we need to respect those companies, and we need to respect the profession. I can tell you, I have so many near and dear friends in the business. I think of Donna Johnson and Rita Davenport from Arbonne, and Richard Brook from 2110, and Art Jonak, and all of I have so many, Orient Saleh and the guys in Norway, and that. We meet for lunch, we meet for dinner. Brooke was just in Miami about 2 weeks ago. We went and had dinner. I don't have to pitch him about Agile. He doesn't have to pitch me about his company. We're just professional colleagues who can work together to elevate the profession. So I love Art Jonak's event so much, because we see all those different companies working together, just developing friendships, and we all work together to elevate the profession. So it's not about that. Really the point I'm doing with this is I want us to get to the orphans, the people who got left behind, who were in a company, it didn't work out, the company went out of business, or maybe they were in something that they thought was a network marketing company that really wasn't. It was a money game. So that's the point of this. For you guys who are watching this, somebody might have given this to you. It may be that you weren't successful in this profession yet, and it wasn't your fault. I want you to know it could be that if you knew the information I'm about to share with you, you would have made a different choice and it would have made a difference. The other thing to keep in mind is everybody has different levels of success they're looking for. Some people are really in the business for a hobby. They love the products of their company. They want to be able to get their products for free, and maybe they're going to market the products to their friends and neighbors and get a little kind of pin money coming in. Hey, if they're happy with that, I'm happy for them. It's everybody's personal choice. Other people are looking for security. They're looking for a steady income. and they're not looking to go out and become a multimillionaire. They're not looking to create wealth. They may have some other occupation or profession they do, and this is something to kind of supplement their income. And they use it to set some money aside for their kids' college fund or retirement savings or things like that. And that's okay. We're not here to judge those people and tell them they're wrong because they're not trying to be a multimillionaire and they're not trying to create wealth. It isn't about that. So let's all be tolerant and respectful of all of our colleagues in the profession. What this is about is getting to the people who would like to create wealth in network marketing and haven't been able to do it. And we can show them how that they really can create wealth with Agile if that's what they're seeking. So what we have to look at is the different kind of opportunities available and what they provide, and then specifically what Agile has and why it can help people in the ways it can. So the first thing we have to look at is the bottle rockets. And this is one of these, and I'm not even considering these network marketing companies. I'm considering these money games. And these are the companies that come out and they start and they skyrocket up to immediate growth like that, and everybody's making $5,000 their first month or $10,000 their first month, and they're making everybody else look bad. But you know what? You're not supposed to make $5,000 your first month in network marketing. You shouldn't make $5,000 your second month, your third month, your fourth month, or your fifth month. Your first month in the business, with most companies, if you make $20 or $30, you're doing great. I think we do a little better with Agile because of our first order bonuses. So we do have people make $1,000 the first month, $800, $1,500. That's wonderful. But that's about the limits of it. People are not supposed to come in and make $10,000, $20,000 their first month. What you see in those situations that do that, they go jogging out like that, and then they go like this, because that's the day the police come in and they shut them down. And that's why I say, I'm about respecting the profession. I'm not about respecting these guys, because these are not legitimate network marketing companies. These are money games that pose as network marketing companies. It may be that, hey, we're going to make you a travel agent, and then you're going to be able to book trips, or the gas pill, the fuel pill that you put in the thing. Remember, I've been in this profession for 25 years now. I've seen that magic gas pill come and go 15 times over the course of that. I've seen the buying clubs come and go 10 or 12 times during that. The be a travel agent thing, I've probably seen that come 8 or 10 times during that 25 years. That's not what we're talking about. That's not legitimate network marketing. But a lot of people don't know because they don't have that experience of 25 years. If that's the first thing you're presented and you don't know any better, and they tell you, hey, this is network marketing or this is multi-level marketing, and you don't have the experience and you don't have the knowledge, you might have got in one of those bottle rocket or juggernaut companies that were not legitimate and not known it. So we've got to let people know that that's not what network marketing is about. The second thing that we've got to look at would be the mature companies. And what you're going to see there is these are the long-term companies. They've been around for 35 years, 45 years, 50 years. And you know what? They created their exponential growth curve already, and now they're kind of stabilizing, and they're here. So there's nothing wrong with these companies. There's a lot of very fine, upstanding companies, and I think we all stand on their shoulders, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. We owe them a lot of thanks. We owe them respect for what they've done for the profession. And if we're realistic and we're being honest, and we say, if you come and join the company at this point, your opportunity for creating wealth is certainly not good as if you join the company at this point or this point. That's just a reality. When they've become mature, they've solidified themselves in the market, they don't offer the opportunity to create wealth like we do in an emerging company. And that's okay. Again, it's a personal choice, because if you ask me, hey, I want to find a very safe, secure income. I want to go out and be able to put a few $1,000s a month income and set it aside for my savings. I'm going to say, hey, if you find one of those mature companies, they're tested, they're proven, the reputation is there, the credibility is there, and the longevity is there. They've been around for 40 years. It's a very good likelihood they're going to be around for the next 40 years. So That's okay. Again, it's personal choice. But if you're looking to create wealth, you got to figure you can't really create wealth in joining a mature company at a very late stage of their maturity. The next thing we would look at would be the flatline companies. They're just going, and they've been around for 15 years or 18 years, and it's just kind of a steady as-she-goes thing. And again, there's nothing wrong with those companies for depending on what you're looking for. Some of them have just, they found their place in the market, and they haven't ever hit the exponential growth curve. And they're not going to. Now, they may not want to hear that, and it's not us to tell them that. That's their business. But, you know, I've been at presentations where people from those companies are there, and they say, and we're 19 years old, and we haven't hit exponential growth yet. And it's coming any day now. Well, if you're 19 years old and you haven't hit exponential growth, you're not going to hit exponential growth. Nobody goes into exponential growth after 19 years or 29 years or 49 years. Because it means if you're still a flatline company, by flatline I mean they could even have a little steeper growth curve or line, but you can see that it comes from incremental growth of adding new markets. What you don't see is growth happening in existing markets. It's like when I was in the restaurant business, the thing we always looked at was same-store sales. Because it doesn't matter if Burger King adds 400 new restaurants this year, of course their sales go up because there's 400 units they didn't have last year. But what they want to know is what are our sales in the same-store units? You know, each store, how are those sales this year compared with last year? It's the same thing with network marketing companies. If we're just getting incremental growth because we're adding a new market every year or two, we've got to say, okay, what is the reason it's not growing in the existing market? And understand, of course, we're all looking for that holy grail, that exponential growth curve. And you got to understand, a million things have to go right for that to happen. And any one of a million things can go wrong to cause that not to happen. Now, the other thing I won't even draw out because, well, if I did, that would be the direct selling model. And some of them would be flatline, some of them have been mature, some of them are still going up. So you could see any one of a number of different growth scenarios with a direct selling company. But this is a very different business model than network marketing. You don't really see the leverage with direct selling companies. These are the ones that knock on doors. These are the ones that do party plans. These are not really what I would call the true network marketing model. They're the direct selling model. And those are, you know, there's nothing wrong with those companies if that's what you're looking for. Now, the reason I don't think they're good for creating wealth is the simple thing that you don't see the duplication there. Because what we know is about 90% of the population are non-sales types. They don't know how to sell. They're nervous about selling, they're afraid of rejection, they haven't developed sales skills, and they don't want to develop sales skills. They have no desire to develop sales skills. Then 10% of the population are salespeople. They know how to sell, they know all the closing techniques, they know all the sales techniques, they go to all those rah-rah seminars and they keep hyping themselves up every day to face rejection, and they know that, you know, after so many no's they're going to hear a yes, and it's just the power of exposure, and they figure if I just keep throwing this out to enough people, eventually somebody's going to say yes. And you know what? That can work for people who have that sales psychology. But it's not going to duplicate, because what do we know is the secret of duplication is we get a large group of people to do a few simple actions for a sustained period of time. That's where duplication lives. We need all three of those elements. It's got to be a large group of people, can't be a small group of people. It's got to be a few simple actions. Can't be too complex or complexity. The more we bring complexity into the equation, the less the duplication goes down. And then it's got to be for a sustained period of time. Can't be for a short blast. It's got to be sustained time. That's where duplication lives. So the problem with the direct selling opportunities for people who are looking for ongoing residual income, and most particularly passive income, that's much, much more difficult to do in a direct selling equation. So see, if you've been in one of these scenarios and you didn't understand this information, you may have been beating yourself up and thinking you're a failure and wondering why this didn't work, and you've heard people are successful in network marketing, and why hasn't it worked for you, and what are you doing wrong? You might have been doing everything right, but you didn't choose the right opportunity for you. What you're really looking for is our fifth scenario in the equation, which is an emerging company, which is young, new, starting to grow, but hasn't hit that exponential growth curve yet. And you're looking for the opportunity to get in here, or here, or here, or here, knowing that you're going to be able to ride this tidal wave of exponential growth. Now understand something, nobody gets rich just because they join a company that goes into exponential growth. You still got to do the work. You've still got to show up and do your part of the process. You have to be one of the reasons, one of the people that create that growth. But what you got to understand is, if you're in a flatline company, you just can't create that growth. There's a reason that that is a flatline company. If you join a mature company at a late stage of that development, you're not going to be able to create that kind of excitement and growth. You've got to select the right company that offers you that opportunity, and that's what I think is the sexy thing that we have to offer with Agile Enterprises. Because again, we say, okay, well, what are the factors that cause exponential growth to happen? Like I said, there's a million things that got to be in place. There's a million things that can go wrong. There's some bigger elements that we can talk about here that are important. First of all is the product. It's got to be a sexy product. It's got to be a product that captures the imagination of the marketplace. Because if it doesn't, and it's got to be a product concept that people get. If you can't explain your product concept to an 8-year-old, then it won't work. If you can't explain your product concept in less than 30 seconds, it won't work. The idea of gel matrix technology, people get that. People understand this works for today's lifestyle. Take those gel packs or those gel strips, put them in your tennis bag, have them in your purse, put them in your car. Take nutrition anywhere. A lot of times we use the analogy, the iPod of wellness and nutrition. With the analogy being Apple, of course, they didn't invent music. They just invented a new delivery mechanism for music. Agile's the same way. We didn't invent nutrition. We just invented a new delivery mechanism for the delivery of nutrition. And so they get the assimilation, the absorption, the convenience, the portability, the consistency. All of those things make sense to people. You can talk to an 8-year-old and they would understand it. You can talk to pretty much any prospect anywhere. They get the concept. The packaging, the branding, it's brilliantly done. So it's a sexy product. The other thing that you got to look for if you really want to get exponential growth is you look for product line extension. And people don't like to hear this, but nobody goes into exponential growth and sustains it if they're a one-product company. I don't care what the product is. Nobody gets to exponential growth and sustains it. They may do a bottle rocket thing. They may have a 2-year run. You can always have a 2-year run with anything. All of these things can have a 2-year run. If you do the smoke and mirrors, if you do the hype, if you do the rah-rah, and you're having people come to meetings and you're handing out car keys and doing the lifestyle photos and the rah-rah and all that, we're not interested in that. We're talking about creating wealth long-term. To do that, you need product lines. You need a line that can be extended because it just goes back to economics. We get paid on volume. We get paid on commissionable volume. And the fact is, if we have one product, whatever that product is, call it a widget. If you have a widget and it sells for $20 a month or $40 a month, and you put 10,000 people in your team, you're going to have 10,000 people, and you go by consumption. One of the things that drives it is you say, what is the average consumption that a family of 4 can do with these products? That's why if you look at the successful companies that have hundreds of products, people say, wow, there's so many products, that's too much. Well, that really works to the benefit of those companies. The fact is, if a company, if it's a skincare company and they've got 15 different skincare products, and then they have shampoo and conditioner and body oil and all lotions and this, and they got dozens of things. There's dozens of things that those same 10,000 people could buy every month. If it's a company that has vitamins and minerals and enzymes and protein powders and energy bars and all those things, you say, well, a family of 4 could spend a lot more money with that. Same thing with the cleaning products companies or the home hygiene products, all those. You look at Agile, 4 product divisions. The gel-ceuticals, which are already, we've got more than a dozen different gels. So we've got a very strong line there that produces some very strong volume. We've got the Agile body line. There's about 8 or 10 products there that produces some good volume. We have the topical gels, which we just launched, of course, which only has 1 right now. And we've got the gel strips, which we've got 2 products in that line right now. So you look, we've got a few dozen products that produce volume, and we've got 4 product divisions, all which of the 4 could really be extended out in a long way. So it all comes back to volume because we get paid on volume. So it's important that you have the product line extension. The next element is the compensation plan. The truth is, there are some companies with great products, great support, great money behind them, all of those things, but they don't have a properly designed compensation plan. They may be the kind of plan, and it could go either way, by the way. Sometimes companies have good plans and they ruin them because the owners get greedy. They say, okay, the plan has worked really well. It's produced us hundreds of millions of dollars in sales, or maybe even $1 billion in sales. But you know what? We're not growing as fast as we were in earlier days, so let's make some other requirements for the leaders. And David, you saw this here in Australia a couple of years ago with one of the major companies that did that, where they said, okay, well, if you're going to get your bonus check every month, you've got to sponsor 8 people every month. Well, that's insane. Nobody sponsors 8 people every month, not anybody who's serious about the profession and growing, because you can't support sponsoring 8 people. Now, you certainly would want to sponsor 8 the first month or 8 or 10 the second month and start up, but if you have to do that every month, you eventually get to the point where you're running out of, of course, at one point you say, well, okay, Mom, you got to sign up, and I need you here, and Dad, you got to sign up, and Grandma, and your dead aunt, and your dead uncle, and then your cat and your goldfish, and pretty soon you're running out of dead relatives, right? So what happens, they get a leadership drain. People say, hey, this is crazy. They promised me residual income. They told me if I could go and build this and create this, then I would have this retirement security, and I don't have it because I can never stop working forever. And you saw the company that did that. They lost a lot of their leaders. Most often it's the other ways. The comp plan isn't designed well. So people have to keep going wider and wider and wider in order to qualify for the higher levels of bonuses. And then what you see is they're so busy always trying to bring in new people, they don't work down in depth. They don't support the people. If you look at the Agile Quadra plan, I think it's the closest thing to perfection has ever been done in network marketing. We really have a qualitative difference with Agile, because what we've said for decades in this business is, hey, you get paid on the efforts of other people. J. Paul Getty said, I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people. Right? Decades we've been quoting that. What Agile did when they designed the Quadra plan was such a qualitative difference, because with this leveraged matching bonus, we don't get paid on the efforts of other people. We get paid on the success of other people. Huge, huge difference. So what the plan does is what you need a plan to do to create exponential growth is it rewards people for taking the proper behavior, for going down and working in depth. So you see, with Agile, no one cares what line somebody's in. They don't care whether it's lesser leg or greater leg. They don't care what level they're at. Are they in my 7 levels of leverage matching bonus? Because of the way the plan works, you know you're always creating depth. You're always creating security. It always behooves you to go down and tap root at the lower levels of the organization and cause that to go up. So the compensation plan is really important. You need that to hit exponential growth. The next thing, the other criteria, another important one, is money. You need to be well financed. I remember when I started in the business, the companies used to brag about the fact that they started at a kitchen table, a husband and wife, and they started a company. And then companies would, I remember back in the 70s, companies would launch in the U.S. and they would only launch in 4 states. And they'd say, okay, we're open in Florida and Georgia and New York and Arkansas. And we're going to be opening Wisconsin soon. And we're going to be opening Michigan in 6 months. And that was a big deal. And then it got to the point where if you were a credible company, you had to open in the whole country. Because it means you had enough money, investment to go out and do it right. And you did all the filing and all the registration. And you did that. Well, look at Agile. I mean, here we were, Agile was backed and is backed still by Ash Capital. So here's a company, founded by Alan Ashton, who founded WordPerfect, sold it to Novell for like $1.5 billion. And they created Ash Capital with some other senior partners, and they were out there, and they are the investment banker with Agile. And they made the commitment, we will fund Agile in whatever it takes to make it the preeminent company in network marketing. So we could have had a bad first year, it wouldn't have mattered. Could have had a bad second year, it wouldn't matter. There, if we need, let's say Agile needed $2 million more to finance some growth. I mean, Alan finds that in the sofa cushions, right? It's just not an issue. So we had the money because, 90% of the companies that fail, they fail in the first 2 years. And the reason why? They don't have enough capital to grow. They don't have it for the product development, the research, the registration, and the international expansion. So you think in the 70s, like I say, companies, to get serious, you had to open in a whole country. Agile opened in 2005 in 12 countries simultaneously. That was insane. Nobody had ever done that before. And here we are at the time we're recording this, we're doing business in 65 countries around the world. So what it means is you can create an income that never sleeps. The sun is coming up around the world somewhere every hour of every day, and you can have a team in that somewhere place creating residual income for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Next element I think is important is the corporate support. You need people in the home office who know what they do, know what they're doing. They have to have experience, they have to have credibility, and they have to be able to support you with the product development, with the registration, with opening markets, shipping the products on time, paying the commissions on time. It's 5.5 years now that I'm in with Agile, and you know what? I never had a late bonus check. I never had people not get bonus checks. We always get the product shipped. You know what I mean? That stuff, the really important stuff, it gets done with Agile because they had the money, they had the people, they had the resources. And most of all, it's the people. We have just, I think, the most amazing team of support people with Agile as you're going to find anywhere. Now, there's one other element, and I think this is the most important one, and that's the field leadership. Because the truth is, there's been companies with good products that never hit exponential growth. There's companies with good compensation plans, never hit exponential growth. Companies with lots of money, never hit exponential growth. Because you know what? A company can't put itself into exponential growth. The only thing that can put a company into exponential growth is the field leadership. And that's what I think is the most important element. And that's what I think Agile has to offer. If you look at our teams, our systems, our training, our infrastructure, our events, when we bring somebody into the business, we bring them in the business with a very solid chance of success. If they're willing to do the work, if they're coachable, if they're teachable, if they will devote the time, we can show them how to do that because we've done that. If you look at the field leadership we have with Agile, we have done it successfully. If you look at the field leadership with Agile, we have made millions of dollars. If you look at the field leadership of Agile, we have produced organizations of hundreds of thousands of people. If you look at our field leadership, we have actually put companies into exponential growth in the past. We have that experience on our resume. I'm so proud of the leadership we have with Agile. Of everything we do, that's the greatest asset that we have. We have extraordinary field leadership. So that's what makes Agile such an extraordinary opportunity. We really do. And like I say, I respect not the money games, but the legitimate companies in the profession. I respect them and celebrate them, and I want success for all of them. And I want that when I personally bring somebody in the business, I can look them in the eye and say, you have the same chance for success that I have. I'm in this to create exponential growth. You have an opportunity to create exponential growth. You have an opportunity to create a legacy position for yourself. A position in the organization where you come in, you get some key people, you teach them, you train them, you plug them into the system, and they have the opportunity to duplicate, and their people have the opportunity to duplicate, and their people, and their people, and their people for hundreds and hundreds of levels, so you can create a legacy income. An income you could will to your children or your grandchildren or a charity. We have that opportunity with Agile. And that's what we've got to get out and tell people about. Those are the, that's what we can offer those poor people who've been grinding it out, who didn't know this information. I want you guys to go forth and share this information with them, and let's help these people reach the success they deserve. Thanks, everybody. Peace.